There are some loves that do not arrive loudly. They do not knock. They do not announce themselves. They simply appear one day, small and silent, and somehow change the shape of a home forever. He came to us on a rainy afternoon, not with drama, not with some grand rescue story, just a tiny cat standing near the back step, soaked through, shivering, and pretending not to be afraid. He was so small that he should have looked fragile, but he did not. He looked determined, like he had already decided that if the world was going to be hard, he would still keep going. We put out a bowl of food. He watched from a distance. We stepped back. He came closer, then closer still. And when he finally lowered his head to eat, it felt like watching trust happen in real time. He did not belong to us yet, but something had already begun. At first, he only stayed near the door. He would eat, sit for a while, look inside, and leave again, as if he was trying to decide whether warmth could really be for him, as if he had learned that comfort was something to approach carefully. Then one evening, just as the light was fading, he walked inside. No announcement, no permission, no hesitation. He simply crossed the threshold like he had always known where home was. From that day on, the house was never quiet in the same way again. There was the sound of little paws in the hallway, the soft jump onto the couch, the tiny weight at the end of the bed, the stare from the kitchen floor that somehow meant both love and judgment. He learned the rhythms of the house faster than we did. He knew when the morning began. He knew where the sun landed in the afternoon. He knew which blanket was the warmest. He knew the exact sound of the drawer where the treats were kept. And somehow, without ever speaking, he learned us too. He knew sadness before we admitted it. He knew loneliness before we named it. He knew when a day had been too heavy. On those days, he would come closer, not in a dramatic way, not like he was trying to fix anything. He would just sit beside us, or press his body into our arm, or curl up on our chest with that deep, steady purr that sounded like a tiny engine trying to hold the whole world together. And somehow, it helped. That is the strange power of a cat. They do not ask for explanations. They do not need your words. They simply stay. And sometimes staying is the most merciful kind of love there is. He was there for ordinary days, for slow mornings, for spilled coffee, for laundry left unfolded, for open windows and dust in the light, for evenings that passed quietly without anyone noticing. They would one day become the things we missed most. That is how love deepens sometimes, not through grand moments, but through repetition, through the 1,000 small ways a life becomes woven into yours. The chair that is no longer yours because it belongs to him now. The corner of the rug where he sleeps every afternoon. The habit of checking your steps so you do not walk too fast around a creature who trusts you completely. He became part of the architecture of our lives. Not an addition, a presence, a small beating heart around which so many invisible routines began to form. And then time did what time always does. It moved quietly, so quietly that we almost did not notice. The kitten who once fit in one hand became older, then softer, then slower. His face changed first, a little more wisdom in it, a little more stillness. Then his body began to tell the truth that love never wants to hear. He did not jump as high. He slept more deeply. He took the stairs more carefully. He began choosing the warmest places and staying there longer. And still, even then, he was beautiful. Maybe even more beautiful. because there is something sacred about a small life growing old in safety. Something unbearably tender about a creature who once arrived frightened and hungry, now sleeping without fear in a house that became his. By then, we knew his habits better than our own, the place he liked to be scratched, the sound he made before settling down, the way he blinked slowly when he was content, the look in his eyes when he was tired, but still wanted to stay near us. It is one of the quiet heartbreaks of loving an animal. By the time you understand them completely, you're already afraid of losing them. And yet we keep loving them anyway. Maybe because that is what love is. Knowing something cannot stay forever and opening the door of your heart to it completely. Toward the end, the house grew gentler around him. We spoke more softly, moved more carefully, waited longer when he took his time. Every little thing felt precious. Every meal, every nap in the sun, every slow walk across the floor, every moment he still chose to come and sit beside us. And then came the day every pet lover knows, even before it arrives. The day the room feels too still. The day your heart begins to understand something before your mind will let it. He was tired. Not the ordinary tired of a lazy afternoon. Not the comfortable tired of a long nap. A deeper tired. The kind that makes the whole world feel like it is beginning to let go. So we stayed with him, because that is what he had done for us. For all those years, in all those quiet moments when life hurt and words were useless, he stayed. So now we stayed for him, we held him, we whispered to him. We thanked him for ordinary things that did not feel ordinary anymore, for the mornings, for the purring, for the way he waited by the door, for the comfort, for the laughter, for the softness he brought into rooms we did not even realize had become hard. And when he left, the silence was unbearable. Not because the house was empty, but because it was still shaped like him. His bowl was still there. The blanket was still warm in memory. The places he loved did not know yet that he was gone. And grief is like that. It lives in ordinary objects. In the patch of sun on the floor, in the sound of a drawer opening, in the instinct to look down before taking a step, in the habit of turning toward a place where love used to be waiting. For a while, it felt impossible to understand how someone so small could leave behind such a vast absence. But that is the final proof of love, isn't it? The size of the silence after it leaves. And yet, even now, he is still here in certain ways. In the softness we learned from him, in the tenderness he pulled out of us, in the quiet way we notice small lives now, in the part of the house that still feels like it belongs to something gentle. Some loves do not end when breathing ends. They change form, they become memory, ritual, instinct, ache, gratitude. He was never just a cat. He was the keeper of quiet mornings, the witness to private grief, the small companion who asked for very little and gave something enormous. A life does not have to be big to be sacred. Sometimes it is enough to be warm, to be trusted, to be waited for, to be missed. And maybe that is why we never really get over animals like him, because they do not simply live in our homes. They live in the rhythm of our days. And long after they are gone, some part of us is still listening for their footsteps.